Goedemorgen, ik ben Wim van Coveo. Ik wil eigenlijk iets vertellen over hoe ga je nou een website bouwen gebaseerd op search. Je ziet dat steeds meer. Search wordt eigenlijk het entry point van een website. Ik noem het maar altijd, je kunt heel veel mooie informatie hebben, maar als mensen het niet kunnen vinden op je website, gaan ze snel weg. Dus search wordt een steeds belangrijke factor. En voornamelijk ook relevante search. Gepersonaliseerde search. Nou, hoe Coveo dat proces ondersteunt, dat wil ik eigenlijk in deze sessie bespreken. En mocht je vragen hebben, laat het meteen weten. Heel kort over het bedrijf. Het is een Canadees bedrijf. Zijn ooit ontstaan uit Copernic Desktop Search. Wij zijn dus ook alleen maar met search bezig. We doen geen CMS, we doen geen CRM, we doen geen Fileservers, we doen geen Sharepoint. Wij zijn gewoon een search engine. Dat zul je straks wel zien. Wij hebben een aantal connectoren waar je diverse repositories mee kunt indexeren. En sinds kort hebben we een hele nauwe integratie met Sitecore zelf. Dat je vanuit de content editor een search interface kunt configureren en manipuleren. Nou, voornamelijk voor content managers is dat natuurlijk heel prettig. Maar er is nog steeds een mooie rol weggelegd voor developers. En dat zal ik straks ook eventjes laten zien. Er zijn allerlei mooie onderzoeken geweest van wat is nou een succesvolle implementatie van zoeken. In ieder geval op een website. Dus hoe ga je daarmee om? En daar blijkt eigenlijk uit dat op het moment dat mensen gaan starten met een zoekopdracht en ze vinden het niet, dan gaan ze gewoon weer snel bij je website terug. Gaan ze gewoon naar een concurrent toe. En we hadden laatst een of andere website waar je reizen kunt boeken. En dan verbaast het mij dat op het moment dat ik zoek naar Cyprus, ik geen resultaten vind. Want in de titel is geen Cyprus vermeld, maar alleen een reis naar een of ander land. Dus je kunt begrijpen dat zo'n bedrijf enorm veel business eigenlijk mist, puur omdat de search geen resultaten oplevert. En daarbij is het nog veel interessanter dat op het moment dat zo'n website, en daar zijn jullie natuurlijk met Sitecore ook mee bezig, ziet van dit is een bepaald persona, kunnen we daar wat mee? Nou, dan wordt de relevantie alleen nog maar beter en ga je eigenlijk die eindgebruiker nog beter faciliteren in het vinden van zijn informatie. Nou, hoe wij dat te werk brengen zal ik jullie straks laten zien. Even heel kort hoe het vroeger werkte in Coveo 6 of Coveo 7 met Sitecore 6.5. Eigenlijk was toen het Coveo eigenlijk volledig gescheiden vanuit Sitecore. Dus je had een Sitecore implementatie, je had de Coveo index server en Coveo vroeg aan Sitecore, geef me data. Dat is hoe het werkte. Je moest de configuratie ook eigenlijk allemaal in Coveo doen. Dus je moest kennis hebben van Sitecore en daarbij ook nog van Coveo. Nou, door ons partnership met Sitecore hebben we dat, godzijdank, heel erg veranderd. Dus eigenlijk is Coveo en Sitecore nu één geheel geworden. Dus op het moment dat jij in Sitecore op publish drukt, dan krijgt onze search engine een push van die data en wordt moet ik het eigenlijk in het Engels doen? Nee, toch? Ja? Wel in het Engels of niet? Oké. Well, let's switch to English then. So right now, the Coveo and Sitecore integration is completely merged. So when you publish something, it's directly pushed to our index. When you define a facet, a refiner, the index is being updated and everything is working. It's done. So essentially, you don't have to face the backend of Coveo anymore. It's completely seamless integration. I will show you that later on. Okay? So, why Coveo? Of course, when you just want to have a search, with the default Sitecore search works perfectly. Let's be honest. Okay, Sitecore made a lot of investment to make it much better than before. It works. So why Coveo? Well, when you need to build very rich interfaces with faceted search within the facets, completions, stuff like that, then Coveo helps because we already developed that. And you don't have to do that. And that's where we stand out across all the others, is that we build user interfaces out of the box. And you as a developer can use those components to use them and not to develop them. When there is a change, we will make sure the change is being applied to all the instances, and again, you can use it. So when you have a new feature which is interesting, well, we can develop it, and probably all the other customers will also have benefit about it.
You're talking about the website?
Yes, yes. So just for your imagination, we have 3-4 developers working for several months now to make sure that that new user interface, which is 100% JavaScript, is being fully utilized for implementations like this. Okay? We of course see that a lot of partners are developing their own interfaces, and of course you will have all kind of wrappers developed. Perfect, but still, we are the search experts, so we also know how to manage an index properly. We know how fast an index can be, and we can do much more than basic stuff. So if it's just basic stuff, please don't use Coveo. When you want to go beyond, probably Coveo is a good candidate. We see that sometimes content editors want to configure a search interface. In most cases they cannot, because there's no interface available to do that. Well, with Coveo they can, and I will show you that later on. More and more we see people asking, well, we have a Telligent forum, we have a community, we want to mix results from Sitecore with other stuff. And I will show you that in the demo also. But so how can we do that? Well, of course you can bring it into Sitecore, but there is another alternative by using one of our connectors to index it and merge that into your search results. And there are several ways how to do that. Okay? Personalized search. As soon as you know the persona of a visitor, like Bob the Traveler or the Family Man, Sitecore is changing the layout. It's perfect, right? You see different images, you see other stuff appearing. Well, with Coveo you can do the same. So you can boost the relevancy for the certain visitor. And I have an example of that later on. Multiple languages, no need to worry about, oh, this is an English website, so I need to use the English indexer or the Dutch indexer. With Coveo it's all a single index. So no matter what, you can use that.
Yeah. Is it the Coveo index or is it integrated into the Sitecore index?
No, it's our index.
Is it a separate index next
Yes.
to the one that Sitecore uses?
Yes. But essentially we changed the search provider, so everything is surfaced through Coveo. So when you inside the content editor do a search, the content is delivered by Coveo, because we index all the items from Sitecore. Okay? Strong Microsoft .NET expertise. We are completely .NET, so our backend is .NET. No need to install an Apache or other Java beautiful product thing. It's just .NET. Our search interface can be .NET or JavaScript, but it's a combination of both. Okay? So, well, that's blah blah. Index. So we index everything from Sitecore. So items, you can also have the full pages. So sometimes a page is constructed by multiple items. We can also index the full page. I've noticed that some partners are using a web scraper to do that. With Coveo, you can just create a new layout, which we can use in our index. In the search interface, then you can determine, hey, I want to show items or full pages. Doesn't matter. It's just a filter you create. Performance. We normally scale up to 80 million items for a single server. It's a little heavy, but performance is still key, right? If you have a search interface, you want to have results like this. When you do a facet filter, you want to have search results. So it should be fast. And we support that because our whole engine is tailored to have very fast performance. Not only on 1,000 documents, not only on 10,000, but on 80 millions. And if you have a cluster to 800, 1 billion documents. Okay? File formats, no need to worry about, hey, my media library contains PDF, PowerPoint, or Excel files. Natively, that's supported. So we have the proper tools to do that conversion, because we are enterprise search, so we need to do that. Security. I don't see it happening a lot when people are using security in their deployment, especially for public websites. It's normally not necessary, right? But when you have intranets, where people need to log on to the portal, then security plays a role, because some content is secured and others is public. We support that out of the box. So you don't have to worry about, can people see this content? No, because we insert the complete security levels of Sitecore, and we know exactly who you are and which you are allowed to see. And again, that's inside our connector, so a connector knows how to handle that.
Is it on a document level?
It's on the document level, yeah. So it's, we are totally aligned with the security model of Sitecore. So we single item is secured if needed. We have the admin is fully, we have built a complete wrapper around inside Sitecore, so when you do publish, our indexer is being updated, etc., etc. And of course, we don't only have Sitecore, but we also have other connectors for foreign content, like Lotus Notes, Exchange, Fileservers, Sharepoint, Documentum, and whatever, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we have a lot. So if you have questions around that, please ask. UI. So what is an advanced UI? As well as we see it, you need completions. So when the users start typing, you need to have a completion list. When people start to search, you want to have faceted search. And faceted search, especially also in secured environments, should be the right number, not the late binding, which a lot of vendors are using. We are using early binding. That means we know exactly who you are, so the facet count is always correct. Nothing is more frustrating that you see, oh, I found 10 documents in the section HR. You click on it, no results. That's annoying, right? Well, at least that's what I find annoying. You can display items or full pages or a combination of both of them. The relevancy, you can influence that. And that's also done by using the content editor. But a developer can even go beyond that. And I will have some examples of that. Mobile enabled, our interfaces, it's JavaScript, so you can build your interface for a mobile device. It's fully supported, so no need to worry about that again. And of course, content managers can work with the UI. DMS, well, I think everybody knows what the DMS is, right? The experience builder, that you know who the persona is, that translates to a profile card.
I have a question about the UI. I'm not experienced with the Coveo. I don't know the product. I have never used it, so I'm just going to ask questions if I about about the UI, if you say like filters, is it possible to like say this is a range filter, this is that? Is it just building blocks that I just can
yes.
put on a web page?
Yeah.
It's already ready built.
Yeah.
Or should I just write my own UI blocks?
No, you can both. You do both, but I will show you how it works out of the box.
Yeah, okay, so.
But it's possible to do much more heavy lifting if you want. Okay. With the DMS, you want to have a personalized search. And you don't want to do too much work, because that's what Sitecore already did, right? Determining the persona. It gives us the persona, and then we start influencing. And I will have an example of that right now. So for example, you have, that font is very bad. This is a business profile, right? And as you can see, when a family profile is there, the interface changes, but also the related content. So the related content here gives much more about family topics, and here it's more about here you can dine. Okay, so in Sitecore, for every item you can specify a profile card, and we will make sure we influence them correctly. And how that works under the hood, it looks like this. Don't be afraid. We are developers, right? So essentially what we do is we give our indexer these statements. So we say here, query ranking, that's how we call it. This is the expression. So where the field profile business is bigger than 1.9, and that's what Sitecore is doing. For every item, a certain score is added to the content. Modify the relevancy with 200 points. And we can not only do this for one, we can do this with 10, 100, whatever items at the same time. And our ranking engine inside our tool will make sure that it's properly changed. So you, as a developer, have total control of what to influence in the relevancy. So you could have, for example, a preference page within your UI, which you can build, to say, hey, my preference is a hatchback as a car. So as soon as the end user starts searching, you could make sure that hatchbacks are pushed to a higher position. More relevant results, better search experience.
Can you also boost these results from a content perspective? So let's say Christmas is coming and you want to boost your Christmas themed pages, for example.
Yeah.
Then you have your content managers at work to boost those pages.
Yeah.
Should they go back to the developers and ask for expressions to be added?
They can add their own expressions. So this is purely based on the DMS behavior and
static actually.
Static, yes, based on the interaction with the user profile. But the content editor himself can also add additional rules. You as a developer don't have to worry about that. Is that good? I think in most cases it is, right? Because we want to have fun projects and not, can you change this 10 points higher? They can do it themselves. Okay? If you look at the other profile, which was the family one, well, you can see that couples is much more important. The family percentage should also be boosted. So you can understand that the relevancy is changing completely. And that's quite... if you're not into search, this is quite heavy lifting if you should create this by your own. And this is essentially executed by your engine, and the results are also delivered like this. Okay? Well, same here, right? So completely a different layout from one to another, all personalization of the search interface. Okay, let's have a look. First of all, this is a recent implementation done by one of our partners, and as you can see, this is Sitecore. On the left-hand side, you see all the refiners, and as soon as I start refining, you can see that the search results are being updated. This is not a very heavy lifting site, it's quite basic. We can do much more, but of course.
Looking at the Coveo interface here, or is this very specific?
No, this is a Coveo interface, and I will show you that later on. This is a Coveo interface, and as you can, we'll see later on, you can have very specific interfaces because it's all JavaScript, so the CSS, everything can be changed. But this is quite a basic implementation. Okay? If you want to go a step beyond that, you could do something like this with the Jetstream demo. Okay? So you could have some nice features like I'm traveling from Amsterdam to Paris, and as soon as I click that, you can see that the departure airport is already expanded to the proper selection in the facet, and you can also see that we have some related stuff here. I will discuss that later on. Okay, so you also noticed that as soon as I start typing, it gives me already suggestions. Do you want to filter on this? Filter on the metadata. We also can support analytics, so based on previous queries. You can also have a drop down for that. And you as a developer can design this essentially. And the content editor can enable this yes or no for a facet. Because essentially all the facets can be used as what we call the omnibox. It can be used as drop-down selections from the search. Everything to help the end user to quickly get to their search results.
So if you say the omnibox uses facets to filter, so flight features is also in the list?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see here, so for example here, you have also flight features, as you can see. Okay, so as soon as I start selecting, I can say, okay, I want to go from London to Paris. Okay, and we want to know what's the cheapest date to travel. So we can do, again, this is a query which is being executed against our indexer, and it says, give me the minimum price of the current 7 dates. You don't have to think about that because we have computed facets, as we call it. So based on the range, you could do a calculation, a minimum, an average, a max, a minimum, a sum of a numeric value associated to the item. So again, some quite heavy lifting, if you need to do that on your own, is already arranged by Coveo. And of course, this is just a little query. You were mentioning, can we extend the interface? Yes, you can. And this is some extension our programmers did. Okay? So I can say, well, the cheapest date is Friday. And then let's have a look at what's the departure time. And again, these are gadgets, as I call it, right? Sexy interfaces. But again, it shows you what you can do with the chart itself. I think it's even a Google chart or whatever. But the data for the chart is coming through our indexer. Because we are using the minimum or the average price. And again, it's just a little query against our indexer. Do not group by minimum. No, use this facet. Use this computed operator based on this field. Make sense? This is not Sitecore. This is some Wikipedia we indexed, and as soon as you select an arrival airport, we show you related content to the arrival airport. But that's not Sitecore. Of course, you could have had it in Sitecore. In this case, it's not, because you don't want to have full Wikipedia or whatever in Sitecore. Or maybe you have some other repositories to maintain popular destinations. And again, you can have your search here by, for example, a tower. See, again, it's searching, full search against the whole index content. So not only on the title, also on the description, etc., etc. Okay?
Is that relevant? Does it have any relevance to the left part of the screen?
Yes, it's based on this arrival airport. Okay, so as soon as I select something else, for example, New York, then I get New York stuff.
So how much of this is out of the box and how much is just customized, and what's the added value of Coveo in this part?
The added value of Coveo in this part is that foreign content can be used. Okay, that's one. Second, the facets here, I'm not talking about this stuff, but the facets here, so selecting, searching within a facet, completions, it's all out of the box. And if you want to have some additional business logic behind the scenes, when you type in London Heathrow 2Ms, it will select the facets automatically. That's advanced business logic. The bottom line is that you don't have to worry about building up a full search interface from scratch. And the components, which is the heavy lifting, like the facets, the query injections, that's all arranged for you.
So is it just as easy as combining some, or just utilizing the Coveo API in such a way that it's easy to implement my business rules, because this is specific and I might have completely different...
Yeah.
Is it as easy to build this website with that API as it is to have just a completely other set of business rules?
I think it's much easier because part of the business rules is doing advanced queries against the index, right? And that part is arranged. And of course the business rule is completely equal if you would do it with Lucene or with Coveo. Let's be honest. The business rule is completely the same. But the results from the query are in most cases with us much better, because you can influence the ranking completely based on your rules.
So basically what I'm asking is indeed how is this compares to just using the link layer against the site content search and using the faceting that's also through that index. Yeah. So what's in from that perspective the added value of Coveo?
Again, if you just have basic rules, like I want to filter on the metadata field, there's no added value.
Just have faceting, have range queries.
Exactly.
So that's all possible.
Yeah.
Just with the current.
Yeah. So again, when it's basic and you don't need computed facets, advanced stuff like that, it works perfectly. But if you want to go beyond that, like a rich interface like this, well, then it's probably much easier to use Coveo. Okay? Let me show you how it works in the back end. So when I go to Sitecore, and we will have the content editor. As you can see here, I can just insert a search page, a very explicit page, and I can say Wim. And if I now go to the page editor, you will see that I already have a basic search interface, right? It's already there. And now I could say, well, let's add a new component. And I can say, well, let's use a facet. And you can see that I can give it a title, for example, arrival. I can use a field, like arrival airport. As you can see, I can specify how many values to display. Do you want to have a collapse button, a more or less button? Right, the settings button, and I can sort by alphabetic occurrences, chi-square, so it's a more complicated algorithm to determine if words are very close to each other. I can blah blah blah. I can have a computed field, as you can see here, so I can say here, for example, the average. And the computed field is not selected by default. Let me remove this one. I can, if I select it, I can display it in a breadcrumb in the top. So for every facet, a content editor really can think about, hey, is it necessary to display it on the top or not? You as a developer don't have to do that in code. So a lot of the features which you normally have by using coding is already arranged by this UI. And of course, here this is, for example, include the text values in the omnibox. So certain facet values, you don't want to have them appear in the search box when you start typing. So you really can let the content editor do the basic stuff, right? Like I want to have a search for the facet, so below the search. I don't want to have that right now. And in normal cases you would now have results. One sec. It's a demo, right? Let me go to the preview. Here's my preview. Yes, I want to save it. See, and I have it right here. So when I make a change to the editor, I can again say, well, I want to have a search box below it. And as you can see, it's already there. Here, for the search interface, a content editor can have different filters. So what's the scope of the interface? So if you only want to search for flights or only for destinations, they can make a filter here. Again, no need to worry for the developer. If you want to boost, they can also have boosting here. So they can say, well, when the item has a certain value, then I want to influence the ranking. I hope you can read it. See? So when, for example, the item name is Europe, because Europe is hot, set the result weight to a certain number. So the content editor can use, by using this simple rule set editor, and I think they understand that, right? I think so. Some people. They can change the relevancy. And again, they will see that automatically in the search interface. So they can fine-tune it, and when they are satisfied, they can publish it and make sure it's inserted in the right page. Okay?
This weight number, what kind of scaling does Coveo?
I think it's minus 10,000 to plus 10,000.
Right.
Yeah. So you could do you could suppress and move up. For example, in our email search, we are searching emails internally, right, by using Coveo. We already have a rule, make sure that from your mailbox, the results are higher because you could have access to multiple mailboxes. When there is an appointment, make sure that your appointments are pushed to a higher position. So we already have 10 different rules to make that happen.
But this is this sets the value to a certain number.
Yeah.
Somehow you also should be able to plus or to minus.
Yes.
Make it less.
Exactly.
Less high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you have to create additional rules and
Yes, yeah. And you could have a whole set of rules, so no matter how many you have, you can set that up. Of course, as a developer, you could even more like using the expressions I've shown before. Because normally this evaluates to such an expression, but you can also insert that in your own JavaScript, right? To make sure you even have more power. Just for your information, this is essentially the Coveo Search ASCX we are using. So that interface you've seen here before is using this to configure it. And this one you can completely change. So if you have your own styling, your own templates, you can change this. Because all these parameters are being pushed by Sitecore. So that we know exactly, okay, this is what we need to do. For example, here you can have, for example, additional expressions, you see? So you could have latest only, so you could have additional filters, additional expressions which you can insert. If you really want to go from scratch, you could also do that, and then an interface could look like this. So the only thing you need to do is make sure you have a div with a certain class name, with the properties. Stupid thing. With the proper data field from our index, and then automatically a facet will be created. So if you really want to ignore the content editor, you could also build your own interfaces completely. And then the content editor can not change those properties, but he can add additional if he wants to. Okay?
So that content search.ascx, that is a sublayer?
Yeah.
Which is the user control?
Exactly.
You also have an MVC version of that?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we just released that one because we got from partners a lot of requests. Why don't you have MVC support? We have that now too. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I really like about the fact that it's completely integrated, because as soon as you start publishing, this will be available in the indexer. Okay, and again, I didn't show you any backend. It's completely integrated within Sitecore.
So if you choose to use Coveo, what do you provide? Is it just a Sitecore package, or do you have to install anything?
Of course, you need to install a backend. That's a one-time operation. It's just a setup to make sure the indexer is up and running. Then you install a package in Sitecore, which enables our web services and our integration. And then you can start building. Yeah.
If you have multiple sites in one instance, you can also do that.
Yes.
You can generate the search index.
Yes. Essentially, every site gets a name, right? And you can have a hidden filter, give me only results from this specific website. More interesting is that if you have multiple brands for the same company, you could also have related content coming from another website without doing too much heavy lifting, because it's still in the same Sitecore instance. Only the domains are probably different, so you could also have related search coming from another website. I'm not sure if you can do that with, probably you can also do that with Lucene, I'm not sure, but that's at least what we can do, because everything is a filter, essentially, inside our index.
Yeah, so I've done an implementation using Solr. Just stores an array of site names for which sites is this document relevant.
Exactly.
And then you can just have a filter query on the site.
Yeah.
One question is it out of the box to have like checkboxes and have the facet numbers?
Yes.
Checkbox?
Yeah. It's out of the box. And we currently are using this mechanism by, one sec. So when you start selecting,
because now it shows the filtering on.
Yeah.
On the price.
Exactly. It's normally also showing the values. In this case it doesn't. Probably that some programmer disabled that, but
I think I saw it at the bottom.
yeah. Well, I will check, but it should be. Because exactly like here,
yeah.
See? So when you add, so you, previously where this was a direct AND operation, and now we are doing an OR. So if you add this category, you get 41 additional results, which is much more convenient for people. But you can also change that. So also here you could say, I want to hide it, I want to change it based on occurrences, on score. So also the end user can make some changes to the UI if needed. And again, you as a programmer can disable or enable this. Okay. If you go to the other Sitecore, this is the latest release with the, you see here we have the MVC search page. So this is our latest release. One sec. If I now go to the page editor, you will see that we added additional values. So you now can see, you can now set, I want to boost automatically based on the visit profile, for example. So based on the current profile, we get the profile card, so we know the values, right? Business, 30, family, 55, and based on that, we will insert those query rules. And also the personalization you have here, we also support that, so this facet could be displayed only for business travelers. So you could have everything in a single interface, for example. Okay? Who's timing? 10 minutes? Okay. So let me get back to this stuff. Let me show you. The mobile UI, of course, it's completely a responsive design, so you can also do that, of course, in the preview, in the content editor, to see the layout of the mobile interface, and you can play around with that. It's fully supported for mobile devices. Questions?
Can you say something about the licensing and pricing rule?
Yes.
So basically, this is something same principle as Sitecore. Sitecore is able to sell it. That's part of our relationship with Sitecore. So I think this is important department as well to understand that Sitecore may bundle Coveo in their offering for customers. And so pricing is sort of similar to what Sitecore's pricing. On a server-based pricing, we derive which one.
Okay, but you do have to pay more to get Coveo.
That's correct, because it's complementary to what we talk about Sitecore.
Can you give an indication of?
I'm hesitant a little bit because it really depends on the configuration, but I mean, ranges between 25 to 35% approximately.
Okay.
The devil is always in the detail, right?
Okay. Is there some information about the pricing model on your website or on the Sitecore site?
I suggest we have a follow-up conversation in the hall.
Okay.
I think the other interesting part is obviously there's a strong focus on Coveo for Sitecore. It was kind leads to the perception that we only index Sitecore content as one show, as one example on the website site. We have 50 plus connectors to other repositories. So Sitecore is your call to front end. 10 other repositories to the back end, which contains valuable information we want to bring together. We're supposed to be able to do that with connectors.
For example, what one of our customers did, IT Ergo in Germany, they have Sitecore as a portal. So they have a lot of portal documents, but they also want to have a people search. Well, people search is Active Directory. We index Active Directory and we show the people search results within Sitecore. That was their requirement. We had some integration with Telligent, I think it's communities, to also, when you are on a product website and you search for a certain product, you also get related community posts around the stuff you have been searching for. And of course that's even more interesting to use Coveo because of our connectivity on that part.
So that means that when you integrate like content that is not indexed in the Sitecore index, you can only use it through Coveo because it's indexed in the index.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
You don't have it in your Sitecore content management.
No. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Which version of Sitecore is supported?
6.2 till 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So also old versions.
Yes.
Let's say if you're running 6.5 now and you have Coveo installed and you want to upgrade to Sitecore 7, do you also need to upgrade Coveo? Or is it one version of Coveo?
No, because
all these Sitecore versions.
the big change from 6.5 to 7 is that we are now fully integrated. So the whole method of working together with Sitecore is completely changed. That's why you need to have some path of upgrading from 6.5 to 7. In most cases, 7 makes your job much easier because in 6.5 you need to have XML files to create the mapping. So the mapping I've done now through the content editor, you need to do that manually. And the interface is of course a .NET interface in 6.5. It's normally not a problem because Sitecore is also .NET. Just wanted to show you how it looks like in 6.5. It's essentially exactly the same. And this is our demo on 6.5. Well, if I search for content, come on. See, so it looks almost exactly the same, but the facets are a little bit different because it's .NET, but the functionality is completely the same. So the way you communicate with the indexer is in some cases easier because it's all .NET. And in the other version we are using a REST API to communicate with our indexer, but the results are exactly the same.
Okay, but it does mean that a Sitecore upgrade will become more complicated because you also have to upgrade Coveo.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
So are there any limitations on the earlier announced 7.5 cloud database version of Sitecore? I mean, if you want to use your analytics data, it's now somewhere else in the cloud, you don't know where. Does it impact your Coveo?
Essentially not, because in our next release, and that's in 2 or 3 months, we also write to the analytics database of Sitecore. So we just use their API. So if their analytics is somewhere else, we will also update that analytics. So that should not be a problem. And we have a very tight relationship between our product management team and Sitecore. So that should be solved.
Because the initial setup is mainly based on on-premise setup.
Yes. Yeah.
So we do start to see more cloud.
Yeah.
And currently implementing L'Oréal in France.
Azure.
So we're getting there. The demand is getting bigger and bigger, and Sitecore to a certain extent is that the same. seen the same trend in requests from the cloud support.
Okay. And again, we are very open for feedback. So if you want to trial this to see how it works, right? Because we have a demo package, you can install it on your instance, you can install it on a Jetstream demo, see how it works, and if you think, wow, this is a piece of, give us feedback, right? Because we can improve, and if you are missing some features or functionality which you are seeing that others do have it, just let us know, because maybe we are already working on it, or maybe it's very easy for us to implement. And we are a small company, 150 people, so we are open for suggestions. That's why a lot of the features you have seen are coming from our customers, like, hey, this would be handy, can we do this? Well, let's implement it. Okay?
Is the demo downloadable from the site, the website?
Sorry?
Is the demo downloadable from your website?
Well, we can give you instructions, but then we can prepare a license for you for a trial license, and then you can have the package downloadable, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But any follow-up instructions we have a on or come see this. Thank you.
Okay.